Okie dokie. Oh, what day is it now? The 25th of March. You hear a bit of wind in my ear. My hair is windswept and interesting as I cruise along the outskirts of Bocklet, talking to myself in my phone, and the passengers next to me stop and have a go. What the feck is that, says they? A foreigner on a bicycle. It's not a bicycle, it's a moped. Anyway, it's one of the things that you just get used to after a while. People staring at you. I am living in Bocklet City, for those not well informed. It is about halfway down the western coast of an island called Negros Occidental. Right? A couple of marbles stuck in my mouth. Negros Occidental. And a little bit like Ireland has Belfast at the top end, Negros at the bottom end has a separate territory known as Negros Oriental. And the division of the two is nothing like the Irish situation. There is not a big load of Belfast or Protestants. I was about to say prostitutes. Protestants down the far end of the country, a little bit like Ireland. It is just a political thing. Anyway, I digress. I'm on the way into the jail, police station 1, where there is typically 15 to 20 men in the men's holding cell, and there's always maybe 3 or 4 women in the women's holding cell. And the guys can be detained for incredibly minor incidences, but mostly they are detained for possession of narcotics, right? Shabu, the local shabu. And some of them are detained because they've been caught with 0.3 of a gram, which might be worth about 100 pesos. And some of them are detained because they've been caught with 500 grams. Regardless of the situation, they will often say that the drugs were planted, and you just wouldn't know. We're talking about 3 or 4 years after the downfall of the Duterte regime. And what is happening at the moment, actually, is that Duterte was arrested on his way back from Hong Kong and is now currently held and detained in the Netherlands, and has been appeared in front of the International Criminal Court on violations of the international, the violations of human rights anyway, but I guess it's the International Charter for Human Rights. And it is alleged that he is responsible for the deaths of 6,000 to 30,000 addicts who are killed without due process. For further reading on that, I recommend Some People Need Killing by a Filipino author who had to leave the country upon publication. Such was the tenacity of her journalism in uncovering what was Duterte's long reign in power. There is evidence there, the international courts have evidence that not only was he locking up and essentially murdering via death squads around the country for alleged drug offences, they have evidence that he was importing massive amounts of crystal meth via his brother, and a supply chain which links China and Hong Kong and the Philippines together. So look, they wouldn't have arrested him, they wouldn't have issued the arrest warrant if they didn't have enough evidence. So we are here in Bocklet 2 years, or is it 3 years, after the downfall of the regime, and prior to Duterte seeing any form of justice. So when a man in a police cell tells me that the drugs were planted, I entirely believe him. However, it is also a common fact that addicts tend to lie, and so it's not surprising that they would all say that they were locked up. So anyway, what I do is I'll go in there and I'll buy either a couple of hot dogs and hamburgers in the hot dog and hamburger stall. It's called a 1 Minute Burger, which is across the road, and they do a 2 for 1, which works out at 37 pesos per hot dog, and they do a 2 for 1, so technically speaking that's 15 pesos, 15 to 20 pesos per hot dog, and then I'll buy some Coca-Cola for them as well. And it's just a small little thing like that could make the difference between a nice day in a holding cell and a shit day in a holding cell. Right. It's a good day for a munch, but I just had a whatchamacallit, a Dunkin' Donuts, a fucking Go-Nuts. I just had a fucking Go-Nuts. Nice bit of coffee, and there was a couple of street beggars tapping on the window. Lads, I'm an awful divil. I can't go past the man with his paw out without digging deep for some change. Anyway, what was I going to say to you? Yeah, I was on a meeting there. So sometimes I come in here, seeing as how this is supposed to be recovery centred. I was on the Tusnua 9 p.m. meeting, and I think it's an American meeting with an Irish name. Anyway, it's 9 p.m. my time, so I don't know what that's 2 p.m. Irish time. But there was a fella talking very similar stuff to the experiences I had out in Vietnam. Oh my God, he took me back. Hold on till I see if I can. That's it. The microphone was up behind my ear. I don't know if you would have heard all of that. So your man on this meeting was saying that he was out in Vietnam, walking around the same streets I was walking, experiencing the heart of darkness, aka Boy Vien, caught up with all the same old riffraff that I was caught up with. And he was saying that he was on the back of a bike with a local girl, and she robbed him, and she left him in the middle of nowhere, and he was walking around for 2 days because he couldn't find where he was. Wherever she had left him, it was off in some district in the middle of nowhere. Like if you had just arrived there and you hadn't been there before, it would take you some time to get your bearings. For example, if she had driven him over to District 2 and his hotel is in District 3, sure, he wouldn't know his arse from his elbow, and he wouldn't have been able to figure out, like, oh yeah, that's the name of my hotel, is back over there. So he was wandering around for 2 days, no food, no water. He had to beg off the locals. He drank some dodgy water. Somebody gave him some dodgy water, and by the time he got to his consulate and they helped him locate his hotel, however they did that, I don't know, but they helped him find where his hotel was so that he could get his stuff. By the time he actually got his stuff out of the hotel, 2 days after the woman had robbed him, he ended up with a dodgy stomach, and he had to go to hospital. And he was describing that third world hospital, Jesus Christ, bringing back exactly the experiences I had, only that I was in those same kind of hospitals, but it was in the middle of COVID, and I had a busted leg because I came off my motorbike while I was shouting at someone, and I still have pictures of that fucking leg that wouldn't heal, and I'd go down to the hospital off my mallet. Vodka for breakfast, drugs for lunch. What are you gonna wear today? Same thing you wore yesterday. You're gonna dress up like fucking Rambo. And away up, I went to the hospital to try and get some medical attention, only to be met with people in, you know, the ET costumes. That's the best way to describe it. Those the costumes that they wore in ET. Here we go. Oh, look at it. Is it even open? Are you open? Yeah. Can I have 7 hot dogs? So 14 altogether. Thank you.
37.
Yeah, the 37 one, the cheesy hot dog. So anyway, yeah, ET looking motherfuckers. And they'd say, fill out that form there, and then go over there and sit over there, and then go over after that, go over there, and then get a swab test, and then fucking go over to that little room over there, whip out your dick. We're going to measure the size of your dick as well, because we can't even say hello to you unless we know your dick size. And yeah, I couldn't be dealing with it, and I went from hospital to hospital trying to seek medical advice for this busted leg. And I felt like every time I went, they would say, "You COVID symptoms, is it?" And I say, "No, it's not fucking COVID symptoms. It's a busted leg." And you know, I don't know why the fuck I kept on going to the hospital. I couldn't figure out where the local doctor was. In the end, I just started tending to it myself. Anyway, that's 5 minutes and 29 seconds of pure gibberish. Why am I going back down memory lane? Who knows? I'm trying to make a recovery orientated vlog, while at the same time showing you what it's like to live in the Philippines. Does that make any sense? Alright, so job done. That's, what was that, 7 in the men's holding cell, and there was 2 in the females holding cell, and I bought 18 hot dogs all together. So job done. That means that when I die and go to heaven, your man that's going to be on the gate, what's his name again? St. Peter or St. Gabriel? Which one? You'll have to look at the Bible for that. Anyway, he's going to say, when I finally arrive, "How are you getting on there?" And I'll say, "Gabriel, 'tis yourself. Check that book there and see how much of a cunt was I in all those years you had me down on that so-called planet Earth." And he'll take a look at his book, and he'll read down through it, and he'll go, "Yeah, you were a bit of a cunt, all right, but I tell you what, you went in there quite a few times and you fed those prisoners in the police station 1, so we'll just call it quits, huh? We won't bother sending you to purgatory. How about that, Connor? Will you come in there now and have a seat there beside Kurt Cobain? He's only got half a head, but sure, you'll forgive him." And the real reason why I do stuff like that at night time, when it's dark, and when one such as myself, an addict of all different shapes and sizes, might be inclined to act out. So instead of acting out, what I'll do is I'll go into District 1 or Police Station 1 or Police Station 6, and I go to Police Station 11 as well, and I'll bring in a big bag of cake, or would it be hot dogs, or would it be my own concoction of Thai green curry or Thai red curry, whatever I can rustle up in my kitchen, and I'll feed however many prisoners are in the cell at the time. Sometimes I bring in biscuits or cake for the policemen as well, because they're the guys doing a good job to keep us all safe and sound, and sure, why not? So that's it. That's the long and short of it, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not wearing a helmet, I know that. You might be thinking to yourself, he's definitely going to get wrapped around a lamppost one of these days, which are, as I said a while ago, it'll be straight up to the gates, up to Gabriel. How are you getting on? And in I'll go, pull up a chair, have a wee chat with Kurt Cobain with half a head. Over and out.